There's a moment in your wealth building journey when everything changes, when you hit $10,000 in savings. It's not just a psychological milestone, it's a strategic inflection point where the decisions you make next determine whether you stay stuck at 10,000 or accelerate to 50,000, 100,000, and beyond. Most people celebrate reaching 10K, then make critical mistakes that kill their momentum. Here's what Japanese savers figured out decades ago that Americans are still missing. My name is Kei, and I grew up in Japan watching regular people treat $10,000 like the foundation of a fortress, not the finish line. I moved to America and discovered most people hit 10K. Think they've made it, then blow it on lifestyle upgrades or let it rot in a checking account, earning nothing. If you've hit 10,000 or you're close, this is your playbook for what comes next. Hit subscribe and drop a like if you want to understand how Japanese people turn modest savings into serious wealth. Here's why this matters. Below 10K, you're grinding. You're building the base. Progress feels impossibly slow. After 10K, your money starts working. At 8% returns, 10,000 generates $800 annually. That's real passive income adding to your contributions. This is the moment to shift from, can I save money, to how fast can I multiply this? The mental shift unlocks different behaviors. You start thinking in systems. You optimize efficiency, you eliminate waste, and you think in terms of velocity, not just accumulation. Japanese culture understands this instinctively. We don't celebrate savings milestones by spending. We celebrate by doubling down. My parents hit their first 10,000 yen milestone, and my father's response was to open a separate account and start building the next 10,000. Not impressive, just strategic. Charlie Munger said, "The first 100,000 is hard to get, but after that, it's just math." Same principle applies at 10,000. Your job now is to maximize the math. Decision 1. Graduate from survival mode to strategic mode. This is psychological and it's everything. Below 10K, you're in panic mode. One car repair and you're back to zero. Every unexpected bill feels like a crisis. After 10K, you have breathing room. Your brain literally shifts from cortisol-fueled survival thinking to prefrontal cortex strategic planning. Japanese people recognize this threshold early. We call it having walking away money. Not enough to retire, enough to think clearly, to negotiate better, to avoid desperate decisions that cost you long-term. With 10K, you can say no to bad jobs, bad deals, and bad relationships without immediate financial panic. Smart Sam hits 10K and recognizes he's graduated. He starts optimizing tax efficiency. He seeks better returns. He thinks about compound velocity instead of just save whatever you can. Broke Brian hits 10K and relaxes. Thinks he's made it. Starts spending more because he deserves it. Brian is about to learn that $10,000 is not financial security. It's the entry ticket to building actual security. The shift from survival to strategy is the first power move. It determines everything that follows. Recognize this moment. Don't waste it by treating 10K as the destination. Decision 2. If you have any high-interest debt, eliminate it immediately, even if it means temporarily slowing your savings momentum. Here's the brutal math. If you're carrying credit card balances at 18% while your savings earn 4%, you're losing 14% on every dollar. That's not a small leak, that's a sinking ship. Japanese people treat debt like my grandmother treated food waste. Shameful, unacceptable, something you fix immediately. We have that Motenai principle again. Wasting money on interest payments when you have cash available feels fundamentally wrong. With 10K in assets, you should have the discipline and cash flow to aggressively attack remaining debt. The psychological benefit is massive. Being debt-free unlocks mental clarity, reduces stress, and frees up cash flow for accelerated investing. The math is even more compelling. Paying off $5,000 in credit card debt at 18% is equivalent to earning an 18% guaranteed return. Show me an investment that beats that. Smart Sam uses $3,000 of his 10K to eliminate credit card debt, keeps $7,000 as emergency fund, then redirects the monthly payments into investments. Broke Brian keeps the full 10K sitting in savings, earning nothing while paying 18% interest on balances. Brian thinks he's being smart by having savings. He's actually hemorrhaging wealth. Once you're debt-free, excluding low-interest mortgages under 4 or 5%, Every dollar of income flows directly into wealth building. This decision alone can add tens of thousands to your net worth over the next decade by eliminating wealth-destroying interest payments. Decision 3. Upgrade your emergency fund from barely existing to actually functional. Most people with 10K think, great, I have an emergency fund. Wrong. $10,000 is not an emergency fund. It's the beginning of one. Japanese households keep 6 to 12 months of expenses liquid, not 3 months, not whatever's in checking. 6 to 12 months. Why? Because a real emergency fund creates optionality. With 12 months saved, you can take calculated career risks, weather market downturns without panic selling, negotiate harder knowing you have runway, and pursue opportunities without financial desperation. The psychology is powerful. Knowing you have a year of expenses saved creates confidence that compounds into better decisions across your entire financial life. Let me make this concrete. Aim for $20,000 to $30,000 in a high-yield savings account earning 4 to 5%. Yes, this money isn't invested at higher returns, but the opportunity cost is worth it for the mental security and strategic flexibility. Smart Sam recognizes that 10K is the foundation, not the structure. He keeps building to $25,000 before aggressively investing beyond that. Broke Brian thinks 10K is plenty and starts dumping everything else into crypto or meme stocks. When an actual emergency hits, Brian panic sells investments at a loss while Sam handles it calmly from his cushion. A robust emergency fund isn't conservative. It's the foundation that allows you to stay invested through volatility and avoid financial desperation, both of which compound into significantly higher long-term wealth. Decision 4. Open and fund a Roth IRA immediately if you haven't already. At 10K in net worth, you're likely early to mid-career, meaning decades of compound growth ahead. Every dollar invested in tax-advantaged accounts grows tax-free, dramatically amplifying long-term returns. Here's the math that changes everything. $7,000 in a Roth IRA growing at 10% for 30 years becomes $122,000 tax-free. That same amount in a taxable account after capital gains taxes becomes approximately $92,000. You've lost $30,000 to taxes from 1 year's contribution. Multiply that across decades and tax optimization becomes worth hundreds of thousands. Japanese people don't have Roth IRAs, but we have similar tax-advantaged systems, and we use them religiously. Not because we love paperwork, because we did the math and realized that tax efficiency is the easiest way to boost returns without taking extra risk. Smart Sam maxes his Roth IRA every year, $7,000, even if it means living more frugally short-term. Broke Brian thinks he'll start investing seriously later and keeps everything in a regular savings account. In 30 years, Sam's disciplined contributions become over $2 million tax-free. Brian's procrastination costs him hundreds of thousands in lost compound growth and taxes paid. This is low-hanging fruit most people miss. At 10K, you have enough to start. Don't wait until you have more money. Start now and let time do the heavy lifting. Decision 5. Resist lifestyle inflation like your financial future depends on it. Because it does. This is the most critical behavioral decision after hitting 10K. Most people reach 5 figures and think, I've made it, I can relax and spend more. Fatal mistake. The people who become wealthy treat 10K as a checkpoint, not a destination. Let's talk about lifestyle inflation for a second. You hit 10K and suddenly your brain decides you need the premium streaming services, the nicer apartment, the car upgrade, the vacation you've been denying yourself. It's not even that much more expensive, you're just paying extra to feel like you've arrived. Meanwhile, your savings rate stays frozen and $10,000 becomes your permanent plateau instead of your launching pad. Japanese culture has built-in antibodies against this. We have that Harahachi-bu principle. Eat until 80% full. Applied to spending, it means spend less than you can afford. Not because you're cheap, because you're building leverage for your future self. Smart Sam hits 10K and maintains his modest lifestyle. He drives the same used car, lives in the same reasonable apartment, redirects raises and bonuses entirely into investments. If he was saving 20% of income to reach 10K, he increases to 25 or 30%. Broke Brian hits 10K and upgrades everything. New car payment, better apartment, more restaurants. Brian thinks he's earned it, He's actually chosen to stay broke longer. The math is dramatic. Maintaining discipline after 10K versus inflating lifestyle is often the difference between reaching 100,000 in 5 years versus 10 years. Every dollar spent on lifestyle inflation is a dollar that can't compound into $5 to $10 in future wealth. This is the hardest decision on the list, but also the highest leverage. Choose delayed gratification now for exponential wealth later. Decision 6. Automate everything to eliminate decision fatigue. With 10K, you have enough complexity that manual management becomes a burden. Automate savings transfers, investment contributions, bill payments, everything. Set up systems that make wealth building the default, not a decision you make monthly. Japanese people love systems and automation, not because we're robotic, because we understand that willpower is a finite resource that depletes over time. The people who sustain wealth building over decades don't rely on discipline, they rely on systems. Smart Sam sets up automatic transfers the day after payday. $400 to Roth IRA, $200 to taxable brokerage, $100 to additional emergency fund. Before he even sees the money, it's working. Broke. Brian manually decides each month whether to save or invest. Some months he does. Most months life gets in the way. In 10 years, Sam has invested consistently through every market condition. Brian has a collection of excuses and half the wealth. Automation removes emotion, prevents market timing mistakes, enforces consistency, and frees mental energy for higher value decisions like earning more. The compounding benefit of automation is invisible but massive. Over 30 years, automated investing captures every market upswing without delay and avoids panic selling during downturns. Set it once, review quarterly, adjust annually. Let the system work. Decision 7. Invest in yourself strategically. At 10K, you've proven you can save. Now prove you can earn more. The best return on investment at this stage often isn't financial assets, but human capital. Going from earning $50,000 to $70,000 through skill development has the same wealth impact as earning 40% returns on 10K, except income growth repeats annually. In Japan, we take professional development seriously. Certifications, language skills, technical training. Not as resume decoration, as leverage multipliers that increase earning power. My father spent 5% of his income every year on books, courses, and skills. That investment compounded into promotions and raises that increased his lifetime earnings by millions of yen. Smart Sam allocates $1,000 from his 10K toward a certification or course that positions him for higher income. He networks strategically. He asks for mentorship. Within 2 years, his income jumps from $60,000 to $80,000. That extra $20,000 per year dwarfs any investment return on his original 10K. Broke Brian thinks investing in himself is expensive and keeps all 10K in savings earning 4%. Brian's income stays flat. His wealth grows linearly instead of exponentially. Higher income while maintaining modest expenses creates the fastest path to wealth. Don't just save harder, earn smarter. Decision 8. Start learning about investing beyond just savings accounts. At 10K, sitting in a savings account earning 4%, you're losing to inflation. You need your money working harder. This is the moment to educate yourself about index funds, ETFs, and long-term investing. Japanese investors tend to be conservative, true. But we're not stupid. We understand that cash loses value over time, and that equity ownership in productive companies is how wealth compounds. We just do it systematically, not speculatively. Smart Sam spends 30 minutes daily for 3 months learning about investing. He reads about index funds, dollar cost averaging, and long-term thinking. He opens a brokerage account and starts investing $200 monthly into low-cost index funds. Broke Brian thinks investing is gambling and keeps everything in savings. In 20 years, Sam's disciplined investing turns $100,000 in contributions into over $400,000. Brian's savings account turns $100,000 into $120,000 after inflation eats most of the gains. The difference between 4% returns and 10% returns over decades is literally hundreds of thousands of dollars. Education is the unlock. Start now. Decision 9. Define your next milestone and reverse engineer the path. If you've hit 10K, your next target should be $25,000, then $50,000, then $100,000. Without a clear next target, motivation drifts and discipline weakens. Japanese goal setting is specific and timeline-driven. Not "I want to save more." More like "I will reach $25,000 by December 2027 by saving $600 monthly." Smart Sam defines the goal, does the math, and commits to accountability. Reaching $25,000 from 10K investing $500 monthly at 8% takes approximately 2 years. That's his target. He tracks progress monthly and adjusts quarterly. Broke Brian celebrates 10K, sets no next target, and drifts. His savings momentum dies. 5 years later, he's at 12,000, wondering what happened. The people who build significant wealth don't stop at 10K. They treat it as the launch pad. They understand that 10K to 25,000 is faster than 0 to 10K because compound interest accelerates with base size. Define your path. Commit to the timeline. Execute relentlessly. Without this clarity, most people plateau after 10K. Don't be most people. Decision 10. Guard this money like a samurai guards a gate. $10,000 is optionality, freedom, leverage. The moment you have it, people and circumstances will try to take it. Family emergencies, friends with investment opportunities. Your own impulses screaming for upgrades. Guard it fiercely. Japanese culture has this concept of protecting what you've built with the same intensity you used to build it. My grandmother kept her savings in a separate bank she had to physically visit. Not because it was convenient, because friction prevented impulse access. Smart Sam keeps his 10K in accounts that require intention to access. Separate bank. No debit card attached. He makes it slightly annoying to touch. This friction protects him from himself during weak moments. Broke Brian keeps everything in checking with instant access. One bad week and he's dipped into savings for a vacation he can't afford. 6 months later, he's back to square one, wondering why wealth building feels impossible. $10,000 is the foundation. Protect it. Build on it, let it compound. But never treat it as spending money that happens to be saved. Here's the contrast that stings. Smart Sam hits 10K and recognizes he's graduated from survival to strategy. He eliminates high-interest debt with $3,000, builds his emergency fund to $25,000 over 2 years, maxes his Roth IRA annually, maintains his modest lifestyle despite having more, automates his entire financial system, invests in skills that double his income, learns about index funds and invests consistently, defines his path to $50,000, and guards his wealth like it's his future freedom. Because it is. Broke Brian hits 10K and thinks he's made it. He keeps high-interest debt because he has savings now. He stops at 10K thinking that's enough emergency fund. He doesn't open a Roth IRA because he'll do it next year. He upgrades his lifestyle because he deserves it. He manually manages everything and misses months. He never invests in himself. He keeps everything in savings, earning nothing. He sets no next target. And he treats 10K like spending money he's temporarily not spending. In 10 years, Sam has $300,000 in options. Brian has $18,000 and excuses. The difference isn't income, it's not luck. It's decisions made at the inflection point. Remember that feeling when you first saw 5 figures in your account? That's not arrival, that's activation. Japanese people aren't smarter about money. We just inherited a framework that treats milestones as launch pads, not finish lines. $10,000 is your foundation. Now build the fortress, eliminate debt, expand your cushion, use tax advantages, resist inflation, automate everything, invest in yourself. Learn about investing, define what's next, guard what you have. These aren't Japanese decisions, they're just decisions that work and happen to have been refined in Japan for generations. The math is universal, the psychology is human, the results are yours if you execute. Subscribe if you want more principles that turn modest savings into serious wealth. Like this video if it helped you see what's possible after 10K. And pick 3 decisions from this list to implement this week, not next month, this week. Drop in the comments which 3 you're prioritizing and why. Your 10K is the foundation. Now let's build the empire. The power is in your decisions. Execute.